Could be the biggest week in West Virginia recruiting history. Pat McAfee dropping big hints about elite tackle prospect Kevin Brown announcing to where? Maybe West Virginia? It's looking good.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host. Welcome back into Locked On West Virginia, baby, where we're talking about the Mountaineers on the football side again today, as well as some basketball talk, too, as my mascot is in the background. I didn't want to make her get down today. She's being a sweetie. Appreciate you guys for jumping in here with me as we talk some sports. Not doing it alone, though. We are on a limited time today, so I'm going to go ahead and bring him onto the stage. Jackson Johnson.
How you doing today, good buddy?
Doing good, man. We got something to talk about real quick, and I appreciate you for jumping on with me to do it.
Absolutely, of course, my guy.
This episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by our friends at Game Time. Right now with Game Time, download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code Locked On College for $20 off your first purchase where the terms apply. Yes, sir. All right. So as you all know, Pat McAfee Show has announced that an announcement from Kevin Brown will be happening on their show. It's been announced by a few outlets. 247 Sports has announced it as well. Obviously, this is enormous news for multiple reasons. Number one, it's most likely going to be West Virginia. We all know that at this point. As a matter of fact, at this point, I would bet on West Virginia being the pick. It's not even that big of a secret. It's probably the worst kept secret in the country right now. Like Sadler was yesterday. Like I don't even know how many people texted me asking me what my thoughts on it were. And I said, just be prepared. He's going to pick West Virginia. I feel exactly the same about this. Don't want to mix too much drama in here. Like this is happening, guys. So just prepare yourself. Listen, Franklin with Virginia Tech means nothing here. That relationship is severed. So like it's too late in the game for them to make up any ground, in my opinion. Now, I don't know the full ins and outs there, but I know enough, right? And so I'm just going to say that was a Penn State relationship, and the Penn State relationship is over. A Virginia Tech relationship could happen theoretically, but it would take a while, and we don't have a while. It's literally there's about to be a decision made. So what I want to do is, and with Jackson here, I asked him to come up with one thing, I think it was, because you got to leave soon. But, let's come up with some takeaways because what does this mean for West Virginia? Because there's a lot this would mean for West Virginia if Kevin Brown commits to West Virginia, obviously.
Oh, if he did, he'd be an immediate starter for 2026, and he'd be locking down a tackle spot for the next 3 years at the very least. Because it would be humongous for the West Virginia offensive line. And what's up, Joey Foster, the Wizard of West Virginia, in the chat. How you doing today, good buddy? And, just looking at the fact that Kevin Brown has a wrestling background, I mean, it's huge. I mean, Obviously, 6'5", 270 pounds. 410 bench press and a 610-pound bat squat. Class 3A state tournament qualifier as a sophomore and had a 21-4 record in the 285-pound division over the course season where he was a district champion.
More than 270 now, but yes, he weighs more than 270 now.
Yeah, I'm not messing with that guy. He'll smash me up.
Right.
He'll smash me up.
You would become another chicken nugget.
No, I don't want to be a chicken nugget, and I don't want to be. I don't want to be mashed up like mashed potatoes and gravy. That's for sure.
Right. So here's where I'm at on this. And for those of you who don't know, there have been people logging in prediction after prediction after prediction trying to get out ahead of this thing. And I'm not trying to say a whole lot here, but we've been out way ahead of this thing. Sometimes not always in a good light. And if you know. I gave some people the ammo to try to come after me, which whatever, didn't work. But here we are, right? So still having conversations. We're talking about certain things. And look, West Virginia is in a great spot here to land the kid. And that's what we should all be focused on. West Virginia is going to get one hell of a player here. And I think that this is something that changes the recruiting life of West Virginia. Really. Here's why. Okay. First of all, on 3, Steve Wilfong, who has a 92% rating all time over decades, probably, I would imagine. I don't know. I haven't looked. Has him logged to West Virginia. 247 Sports across the board logged their picks today for West Virginia. Insider Consensus, who has an 88 to 90% ratio, depending on which guy it is, has West Virginia. Ohio State second, UNC third is how most people agree right now. There was the flying West Virginia gloves he wore in the high school game the other day. That McAfee thing. Would he be going on McAfee not to come to West Virginia? Maybe, because it's such a national story. I wouldn't put that past it, but it actually lends more credence to this that he's coming to West Virginia.
Oh, here we go.
It proves a couple things. My 6 takeaways. It proves Rich Rodriguez and the staff can recruit and flip top 100 talent in the modern era, because landing Kevin Brown would not only be a significant shift in Morgantown, it would also demonstrate that, listen, Rich Rodriguez isn't so old school as people thought. And Ross Hodge too, guys. Miles Sadler from yesterday's basketball commitment, these two guys are capable of thriving in the current landscape. This isn't the past where the way it used to be. This isn't about just one flip. It's evidence that West Virginia can compete for elite prospects, and they're willing to do so both financially, and they're willing to reach out to them in a capacity of, I'm coming after you guys. Like, this isn't just I'm sending you an offer, just so you know we sent it to you. Like, this is, we're coming after you in an aggressive manner, making strategic relationships. Hopefully timely opportunities happen, like the Penn State thing, but it's not always going to be that way, and you're going to beat people out. How are you going to do that? And West Virginia is no longer what Bob Huggins said, Jackson. Bob Huggins told Bill Self one time, the reason me and you get along is because I don't recruit the same kind of players you do. So that West Virginia is no longer that. Everybody's competing with everybody else for the same players now, for the most part. Unless you're just broke in this day and age, which I'm not saying we're rich, but we ain't broke yet. So, we're in a good spot here, and momentum is picking up, Jackson.
Oh, it is. Like, I'm looking for the time tomorrow of when we're going to see Kevin Brown go on the Pat McAfee Show. I mean, I know we're not seeing Aaron Rodgers Monday or Tuesday, obviously. I don't know who else is going to be on with Pat McAfee usually, but it's a big deal when you see a commitment announcement on the McAfee Show. But the McAfee Show on ESPN is on 12 Eastern to 2 Eastern. Mm-hmm. And then you see the rest of the show on 2 to 3 Eastern on YouTube. So, correct. But you'll see it on the ESPN section tomorrow for sure.
I would imagine if it's going to happen, it would probably happen fairly early in the show, but I don't know really the structure. I mean, I watch the show, but I usually watch clips like everybody else. I would imagine it would happen in the first hour or so. I mean, because it's such a big story, you would want to get to it quick. But then again, is it bigger than NFL stuff and all that? I don't know. But, obviously the fact – so, and this goes to one of my other takeaways. Jackson mentioned he would be an immediate starter, and I do agree. And I had a recruiting analyst on from the other day that also said he would start immediately at right tackle for Ohio State, much less West Virginia, guys. So I just want to get across to you how good of a player this is that we're getting here potentially. Obviously, anything can happen. Could he flip tonight and say, you know what, I'm not going to West Virginia? Anything can happen. It can't. We just have to be acknowledging that. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it can't, but I think I have a grasp on the situation to the point to where I could be pretty safe in saying, I believe this is going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
It validates that West Virginia's NIL operation is pretty real and pretty competitive, right? So that's one thing. It reopens the Pennsylvania pipeline too. There's more to that as well. Jackson, I know you got to get out of here soon. So do you want me? I'll go ahead and let you go. That way you can get over to your meeting.
I keep looking for where Kevin Brown's X account is, because somewhere he's gonna announce. I'll be announcing at this time tomorrow. I don't know where he's going, but
Yeah, I can. I'll ask. I've been trying to leave him alone because so many people, I'm sure, are bothering him. I'll try to ask. Let's figure that out. And if I can get an answer, I'm sure other people will have the information. It doesn't really have to be me. So somebody will find out, I'm sure.
There's always somebody.
The big hint, somebody's asking what the big hint is. The big hint is that it's happening on the McAfee Show.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the hint. Like, do you think McAfee? Oh, and McAfee said on his show today, he mentioned Sadler. Then he said, what could Kamaro bring? That kind of thing. It was a hint towards Kevin Brown. Sorry, I should have mentioned that a little sooner.
Good.
All right, Jackson, I'll let you out of here, brother.
Stay safe, stay warm. It's cold out, and tell your friends, your family, and the cashiers at Poets about the magic that Mountaineer Paul brings for the Mountaineers on Locked On West Virginia. Your team every day. Let's give over 7,000 subs, ladies and gentlemen.
Later, buddy. All right, guys, we'll go to break now. On the other side, what we'll do is talk a little bit more about this. What else does it mean for West Virginia? We've got to talk about the women's team. They're ranked now. The Greenbrier Five was a national story for West Virginia, a national story. People are still talking about it, and even a couple idiots. Talk about that next. This episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. With FanDuel, guys, we got to be honest about something here. The NBA is back. No better place than to get on the FanDuel action than with the official sports betting partner of the NBA. That's correct. Even if you miss the start of a game or if you want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to a fourth quarter comeback. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. Keeps everything exciting, especially when you're making that late push with your team. Right now, FanDuel is giving $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. You can't win if you don't play. Head to FanDuel.com to get started today with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. We're in segment 2, and we're going to crack a Diet Dew. And look, guys, it's a pretty good week to be a Mountaineer, isn't it? Miles Sadler yesterday, potentially Kevin Brown tomorrow or the next day. Sign me up for that every year, please. Obviously, we got to talk basketball too. We're going to get there in a second. I got a couple other quick takeaways on Kevin Brown. So, I think if you look at, like I said, Jeff Ehrman, Brian Doan, Ryan Dancer from 27 Sports, Jeff Ehrman from 27 Sports, Brian Doan from 27 Sports, all logged predictions today. 7 and 8 out of 10 incompetence. Multiple. One guy said this: multiple visits, personalized recruiting. The legacy factor is pulling here. So there's that. So, and I'll say another thing. Like I said a minute ago before we went to the break, it opens up the pipeline for Pennsylvania, for West Virginia to really get in there and make a border state statement, because Penn State's in flux. Could they get the guy and jump right back into dominating the state of PA like they always have? Sure, they could. But I think Rich Rodriguez and company is in prime position, while Penn State's going to need a year potentially to get back, to get in. And so I think this Kevin Brown thing could be the start of that. And sort of like a Rodney Gallagher could be a big something we can look back on and say that was a big win for West Virginia. Can they get more? Especially in the era when paying players is the thing, right? Kevin's is a little bit more complicated. It's not just about money. So we have to consider that, but then it's a factor, I'm sure. Obviously, and then lastly, but not leastly, the national momentum spike. Yeah, we talk locally with PA, but you're getting a top 100 commitment, a top 3 offensive linemen in the country on the Pat McAfee Show, and that puts you in the headline cycle. Announcing this on the Pat McAfee Show puts you in the news cycle, which is hosted by a West Virginia Hall of Famer, and it will elevate, this beyond local news like it probably would have been. Well, it'll probably be national anyway because Penn State's tied to it. But let's just say regional news. It elevates it past that to a nationally televised event. So you're injecting instant visibility into a rebuild for Rich Rodriguez heading in the next year. So, and McAfee is once again coming through on his promise with his platform reaching literally millions of people. That includes key recruits, even boosters, everybody. So it generates buzz that extends far beyond the commitment itself. So you're talking clips that'll be viral, podcast mentions like right here. You've got increased traffic from people you've never heard from yet. And the exposure repositions are going to put West Virginia in a broader college football conversation, guys. So it's going to really, in my opinion, it's going to foster a sense of upward trajectory that could attract a lot of big-time people to the West Virginia program. This is something we need to consider here. I don't think it's an understatement considering the magnitude of this player. So just wanted to point all that out. Those are my takeaways from this a day or two out from the official announcement. Obviously, we'll cover it when it happens, but we need to move on. The West Virginia women's team is ranked, and boy, do they freaking deserve it. National story last week, man. I mean, we all know about the Greenbrier 5, and if you don't know about the Greenbrier 5, West Virginia women's team lost almost all of their starters. They won with 4 bench players and 1 starter. They had 5 players remaining from a benches clearing scuffle, if you will. I mean, they didn't get into it, but the 2 players on the floor pushed each other. West Virginia's bench cleared, and they got ejected, right? So the player on the floor, which is Jordan Harrison, plus the starters who were on the bench because they had been rotated in, all got ejected. And West Virginia was left with pretty much a skeleton crew to try to fix that situation. And we all know how it worked out. They held on for not only the win, but a win over a top 15 team in the country that a lot of people still think are really good, even though they've got 2 losses. It's to 2 really good teams, Baylor and West Virginia, which are both top 25 teams. So West Virginia basketball comes in at number 23 today in the latest AP poll. I've seen them as high as 15, guys, and some people really – this story has taken on a life of its own. If you haven't seen the cinematic recap that the university put out, highly suggested. It's really, really good. And they deserve it, man. They really deserve it. Coach Kellogg really deserves this. He's done an elite job with this team. And I'm watching every meaningful game down the stretch of them, just like I know a lot of you are too. So congratulations to the women. I'm looking forward to seeing how far they can go this year. I was arguing with the guy yesterday who he did a video on this, and it was the worst take I had ever seen. And he's a big content creator, like, 50 or 60,000 subscribers on YouTube. And he's like calling our girls idiots, stupid. Like, how stupid can you be? And then he was on there saying, like, I think he may be a Duke fan, though. I'm not sure. His main point was about Kara Lawson and how she shouldn't coach the USA team. Maybe not after that performance. I understand why people were worried, but some other arching points where he was talking about how stupid those girls were. Like, it's emotional. There was a shoving match. They got up to, it was just a reaction. Yeah. Was it ill-advised? Sure. But stupid? I don't know. I thought that was kind of a harsh. And he also went as far as to say that it was such an indictment against Kara Lawson because West Virginia is nobody. They don't have a good basketball team, he said. I immediately got on the keyboard. I said, what are you talking about? Like, you cover the sport. You say you do. You cover women's basketball. And you don't think that this team is any good because they lost J.J. Quinterly and that's it? Like, That's like you're reading the headlines. You're really not really looking into it, in my opinion. Like that's how that came off to me. Like you read the headlines, you thought you could get that past somebody that really pays attention like me, and you're not going to be able to. So just my personal opinion. But yeah, so obviously this is a team that's won 27 games 2 years in a row. They returned the nucleus from a really good team that won 27 games, and they absolutely deserved to be ranked. So they should have been ranked in the preseason. Everybody knows this. So anyways, congrats to them. Men's team is playing tonight, as we know, Lafayette. This should be a pretty easy win for them. Anything can happen. Anything could happen. Absolutely could. But Lafayette's not a great team. I did a miniature breakdown on them the other day, right? But I think for the most part, West Virginia should pretty well run away with this fairly early on in the first half. But I mean, Lafayette's hung with some teams this year, but they have not been very good, especially in the second half. Usually in the second half, they've been getting beaten by teams, and they haven't even played anybody as good as West Virginia yet. So, like I said, I've said it 3 times now, anything can happen. It can. But West Virginia should have not a night off tonight because, I'm not going to disrespect them like that. They got a couple guys that are averaging 18, 17 points a game, but we're not deep at all. And they go about 5 deep. Actually, I watched a couple of their games the other day. They do have some good players that I would take on West Virginia's team, but they just don't have enough there with them. They've got a wing, they've got a forward that gets them about 6 points a game, 8 rebounds or something like that. They got a really dynamic guard that's scoring like 18, 19 a game right now, but so is Cummings. West Virginia's defense should be really smothering. It should knock them out of rhythm pretty early. And don't be surprised if West Virginia grinds these dudes into dust today. But we're going to watch it anyway. We're going to cover it anyway. And we're going to be here to talk about it after the fact. We will do a live post game as always. We do every game. We don't skip games because they're easy. We don't skip games because they're maybe not as popular. We're consistent. So we get on here, win, lose, or draw, and we talk about what happened. Unless something happens in my personal life, I will be here. So just want you guys to know that. So make sure you jump in here after the game tonight about 9 or 10, and we'll talk West Virginia basketball, talk about some things we saw. Hopefully we can get an Eagle staff sighting, get him rolling today. Chance Moore should play tonight. That'll be exciting to see what his new role is going to look like. And I think that Harlan Obioha, can he continue his really incredible performance from the other day, and start putting on tape for West Virginia that, hey, we're an inside-out team. You can take away the threes if you want, but we're gonna beat you with Harlan Obioha and company. So I think that's something to look at. It could end up being a different way. It could be a perimeter-based game today where they just shoot the hell out of it. That's coming. Like somebody said in the comments, one of them games is definitely coming, and I'm definitely with you on that. I agree. But I think this is a game you're probably going to be really, really favored in the paint. So I wouldn't be surprised to see West Virginia toss it inside to not only just Harlan Obioha, but others, right? I would say Chance Moore probably going to get some paint touches a little bit. He likes to post up some. Although he's a dribble drive and shooter, he can also post up a little bit. Brennan Laurent probably going to get some paint touches as well. And we'll see what this West Virginia team looks like. But I expect them to win pretty handily tonight, 20, 30 points somewhere in there. Could go by more. If this team's as good as I think they can be, maybe they will, because I think this is a 21 to 23 win team, really scrappy team. I think this is a team that can definitely make the tournament. And I think they're a team that, for my money, I think they're better than last year's team just by a bit because of the inside presence. Obviously, Hansberry was not an inside presence. He was an outside stretch four kind of guy. So we don't, and here's another thing, like I don't think we have a Sincere Harris on this year's team necessarily. But, Amir Jenkins is working towards that. So let's see what he turns into. Miles Sadler, now there's somebody. Could end up being that. That's how good he is on defense. We'll go to break. Come out of here. I'll give you my final thoughts. Obviously, we got this thing with Pat McAfee happening tomorrow. We got the game tonight. Women's team's ranked. I'll give you my final thoughts on all that right after the break. This episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by our friends at Game Time. With Game Time, guys, here's what you want to know. College football is back, and I couldn't be more excited. The tailgates, the rivalries, the energy is in the stands. There's just nothing like it. But let's be clear, actually getting tickets can feel a lot more like the battle than the game itself. Endless queues, hidden fees, prices jumping at checkout. That's why I use Game Time. It's the app that gives the advantage back to the fans. It's the easiest way to score last-minute tickets at best prices on great seats with no surprise fees at checkout. What you see is what you pay. I pulled up Game Time, and in just a couple taps, I saw some amazing deals on there. I'm talking about your favorite college football games for as low as $25, guys. Take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase where the terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off today. Swipe, tap, ticket, go download Game Time today and answer the question of all questions. What time is it? It's game time. We back. Segment 3. Thank you guys so much for being in here. I'm so excited about the status of West Virginia everything right now, recruiting. Even the football has been a little exciting here down the stretch. Although we've got 2 weeks until the game, I guess we'll figure it out, won't we? There's at least basketball going on now. Obviously, Coach Rod and Coach Hodge are killing it on the recruiting trail. After Sadler signs and they add that up, I wonder where West Virginia's class is going to rank. It should be right there in the top 15, you would think. I was reminded today that Jay Kuntz has put together a top 10 class at Pitt right now, and they have. So if you guys know, I was reminded of that today, and you could probably guess who reminded me. So I was told to pump the brakes. So, that was kind of funny. But, yeah, obviously they do have a top 10 class. Can't argue with it. But, this team is this class is interesting for West Virginia basketball. The football class is interesting, and there's still a lot of big-time players left. The thing is, guys, we won't get another player quite as high as Kevin Brown, but there are some guys that are 4-star that are a little bit lower than him. Kevin Brown should be a 5-star player. Every single analyst I've talked to said, I have no idea why he's not 5 stars. I have no clue. So, just keep that in mind that he's – at least all the analysts feel like they've seen him in person. Like I had Brian on here. He went and watched Kevin Brown at the 5-star camp. It was literally what they call it, the something or other 5-star camp. And Kevin Brown dominated all the 5-star guys while he was there. So not a shock, but, similar to there's a couple guys I've heard about in the past that have done that. The last one I heard that was that good was probably Kyle Altuner. Kyle Altuner did the similar things where he was dominating camp and all that. So, yeah, this is an interesting time to be a Mountaineer fan. We're lucky to be Mountaineer fans. I encourage you guys to support the players the best you can, whether that be through NIL, in your own personal life or what have you. Let's all give the best way we can, guys, and let's continue this momentum. I think it's a great thing. I'll don't care to be a few dollars shorter if we're going to be good in every sport instead of average or bad. It all matters. It all adds up, believe it or not. And it's the thing, it's like voting. You think your vote doesn't matter, but cumulatively it really does because there's so many other people that feel the same way, and it causes inactivity across the spectrum of West Virginia, right? That people either don't vote or they won't do NIL like $5 or $10 or whatever a month. It's worth it. If more people did it, we would be in better off shape. Thank you guys so much for joining in. Thank you so much for all the support. I really can't thank you guys enough for the life-changing, just this job and everything is to me. It means a lot to me. I told you guys all that all the time. And you guys mean a lot to me. You really do. So I know not everybody watching loves me. I've learned that the hard way. But at the same time, I have to realize that there's some things in life I can't accept. Accepting things I cannot change is something I've been taught for years, but I still have trouble with it. Acceptance does not have to be agreement. So I'm trying to accept the fact that people don't like me more and better, but it's not always easy, and I don't always do great at it. Hopefully, if you don't like me, just message me personally, and like we can try to come to some kind of conclusion. Obviously, I can't answer every single message. There's probably quite a few, but I do try to give people good faith arguments about why they're probably wrong. But either way, I appreciate y'all. I just love the fan base. I love West Virginia fans, and I don't want to ever. I think some people have the wrong idea about things. So, all right, y'all, let's jump out of here. Let's go watch a basketball game. It's coming on in about 45 minutes. I'm really excited about it. Yeah, Scotty, I'm pumped. Thank you so much for all your support, by the way. It doesn't go unnoticed. I see you in the comments and everything you say, and it means a lot. As somebody who's in recovery, I know that it means a lot to you, brother. To the guy that I met in Walmart today that took the picture, hopefully you enjoyed that. It means a lot to me when you guys say hi to me in public. It's kind of surreal, to be honest, because this has happened to me a few times lately. People will come up to me and be like, "Oh, it's Mountaineer Paul," and I'm like, no idea who this person is, but they know me. It's a weird feeling. I'm not a celebrity or anything, but I mean, it does happen. People do notice me. So it's weird. It's definitely weird. So, you know what? I think I'm good. I was going to talk about another subject, but we're already at 32 minutes. We might as well just do another video on it. I would like to talk on it, but I got to keep my show times down. All right, guys, like the video, share, subscribe, the whole thing. So I keep my job. Make sure you like West Virginia, Locked On West Virginia. Subscribe. What was the other thing? Oh, Locked On Big 12. Drake Toll does a great job over there. And make sure you keep on keeping on over there if I can talk. And we will see you guys on the next one here. We always like to remind you here on this show, don't forget to cue those country roads. See you in a bit.